Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The most important news and editorial of the day that are relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 17th of January. The first important news, that is ISRO Venus mission Shukrayaan first, that has been postponed till 2031. Second, why Kerala opposing the new electricity rule. We'll see the nuances of that as well. Third, government nominee panel to shortlist the judges. This is what the union minister has said. Fourth, reality check for the Raj Bhavan. Today I'll be discussing two editorials. The first is from the Indian Express and other is from the Hindu. That is time to streamline Provident Fund pension scheme. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before I begin this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do press a like button. Starting the session with the first news, that is ISRO Venus mission Shukrayaan I, that has been pushed to 2031, something important for General Studies paper 3, that is achievement of India in science and technology, Indianization of technology and development of new technology. According to the report, which was published and reported in the Hindu, the Indian Space Research Organization or ISRO was yet to receive the approval from the union government with regards to the mission that is called Venus mission. And as of this, the result has been postponed till 2031. Because of the delay from the central government in terms of releasing the fund and final approval, इस program को further delay किया गया. The name of the mission is Shukrayaan I or Venus mission, that is expected to be launched in December 2024, and this idea was actually born in 2012. Now 5 years later, ISRO has commenced the preliminary studies after the Department of Space has received 23% increase in the budget, that is from 2017 and 18, right? So the point here, it is important that if you asked in the mains examination why this has been delayed or whether government of India should be proceeding, you will have to analyze on that part as well. So the feasibility is something that is in question. The ISRO has received an allocations of 13,700 crore rupees for the union budget 2022 and 23, that is marginally higher than the previous one. So government has not augmented the desired allocation that was required by the scientist community. And the Indian Space Research Organization has sought a payload proposal from the Research Institute, that is on April 2017. Now about the Shukrayaan I, this is a mission that is an orbiter mission whose scientific payload include high resolution synthetic aperture radar. और scientific payload की अगर बात करें, currently it include high resolution synthetic aperture radar with a ground penetrating radar. So these are some of the technical features that might be relevant for a question directly asked in the prelims examination. Now the mission is expected to study the Venus geological and volcanic activities, emissions on the ground, wind speed, cloud cover, and other planetary character from the elliptical orbit, right? And even the ISRO had marginally be launching this Shukrayaan I. Originally, it was something that was in the mind from 2023. Now they have cited that because of the pandemic, it was further delayed to 2024, and finally, now there's no option before 2031. This is what the scientist community have discussed with the Hindu newspaper. Now the mission is like include Aditya L1 and Chandrayaan 3 have also been affected by manufacturing delay and commercial launch commitment. So definitely financial outlay and budget allocation is a big concern for such a big project. So this was the image, this how it could look like about the mission. Now optimal launch window की अगर बात करें, this window from the Earth to Venus occur every 19 months. And this is why ISRO has pushed back the launch date in 2026 and 28, but it could miss a proportionate opportunity in 2024. Even more optimal window further reduce the amount of fuel that is required to lift off, and even came around 8 years. So now, not before 2031, if government is giving impetus and focusing on the part of the development, then only you can expect this to be completed by 26 or 28. Now, the US and European agencies had the Venus mission planned for 2031 that referred as Veritas and Envision. अब चाइना की अगर बात करें, चाइना ने 26 और 27 एक ईयर एंटिसिपेट की है for this kind of mission. So these powerful countries and developed countries are also looking forward for the mission in Venice. Now moving to the other news, why is Kerala opposing the new electricity rule? Something important for general studies paper 2. For subtopic, that is the function and responsibility of union and states and issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure of this country. Recently, a gazette notification was issued by the union government, and this was with regards to the Electricity Amendment Rule 2022, which was released by the Centre in December 2022. Now, since this draft was released, a notification was released by the Power Ministry, there was a concern that was highlighted by the Kerala government, and it has objected the Rule 14 of the new amendment, right? And what is Rule 14? Now, this become important for your prelims examination, precisely for the mains examination as well. तो रूल 14 आपको समझना होगा. रूल 14 क्या है? ये परमिट करती है डिस्कॉम कंपनीज को to automatically recover from the consumer on monthly basis and the expenses arising out of the variations of the fuel price and the power purchase cost. So definitely things that is done by a discoms company will have to be borne by the consumer. That is a legitimate concern raised by the Kerala government, right? So अगर आपसे concern में पूछी जाए, you can even highlight this point that this was the reason why Kerala government has specifically anticipated the fact that a customer should not be borne the entire cost. Now, what are the new rules specifically highlighting? The Centre has introduced the Electricity Amendment Rule 2022 to amend the Electricity Rule 2005, and Rule 14 of the amendment required the state electricity regulatory commissions to specify a price adjustment formula for automatically passing an cost through the consumer tariff on a monthly basis, which the Kerala government has categorically objected, right? The fuel and power charge adjustment surcharges shall be calculated by the bill consumer automatically without going through the regulatory approvals on a monthly basis according to the formula that was prescribed by the state commissions. Now, Kerala government की stand की अगर बात करें, what they have actually said and what is the Kerala government stand? The state government has urged that giving DISCOM the freedom to automatically pass an enforcement could cost electricity bill endanger consumer interest, and the amendment saw an unstable pricing situation in the power sector akin of the petrol and diesels. The state government has said that the consumer would be subject to quite unfair and frequent price fluctuations. Further, it has observed that the crucial role played by the State Electricity Commission in fixing the surcharges will be diluted. So this is again the question about the functioning of the State Electricity Commissions as well. Now, the role of regulator की अगर बात करें, until now जो केरला की State Electricity Regulatory Board है, they would file a petition for collecting the thermal fuel surcharges before the Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commissions on quarterly basis. Since that, Kerala produce only 30% of the electricity demand within its border, and power expenditures की बात करें, especially during the summer month when the demand soars, it is quite substantial that the tariff will again increase. Now, in normal course of the thing, the commission will finalize that decision on the Kerala State Electricity Board plea, that is after holding a public hearing by the Honorable Court. And according to the state government, doing away with the prudence check would be in the general public at receiving end. Now, what next for the Kerala government? Now, with the centre notifying the Electricity Amendment Rule 2022, the Kerala minister has convened a high-level meeting recently to discuss the measures and how the state government can compensate to the citizen where they are actually paying on a higher amount. Although not passed by the Kerala government, they have not rectified the part, but if passed, they will have a problem. He directed the power department, basically the minister has directed the power department to examine the potential tariff fluctuations with a new arrangement that can be balanced through the reduced tariff with the state extended monsoon months with a power purchase consumption over the lowest side. During rainy season, hydropower generations की अगर बात करें, this is on a higher side, meeting up to 50% of the demand. And the Minister for State Kerala Electricity Department have suggested that in remaining months, the power purchase cost could be minimum to avoid burdening with the consumer. So this is what Kerala government is looking forward with to ensure that there's no unanimity in terms of the decision that is passed by the central government, and even the state government is objecting the decision of the center to ensure that the citizen of the state is not bearing any extra cost in terms of power or electricity consumptions. Now, moving to the other news, that is the government nominee panel to shortlist the judges, something important for General Studies Paper 2, under the subtopic that is the structure, organization, and function of executive and judiciary. Recently, a letter basically released from the Minister of Law and Justice, and he has written a letter to the Chief Justice of India, and he said that there need to have, he actually suggested that the inclusion of the government nominee should be there in the decision making process for shortlisting the judges. So the minister has written a letter to Chief Justice of India, Mr. D.Y. Chandrachud, and he has made a recommendation. See, there's already a tussle going between the central government and the judges with regards to the appointment, right? And even they have suggested on the part that as per the minister letter that is sent on 2023, a search cum evaluation committee of high level court would have state government as well as the central government nominee, while a similar committee in the Supreme Court will comprise a representation of the central government. So in a letter, the minister has categorically said कि जो सर्च कम इवेल्यूशंस कमिटी होंगी हाई कोर्ट में स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के रिप्रेजेंटेशंस होंगी और सेंट्रल में अगर बात करें सुप्रीम कोर्ट की तो वहाँ पे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के रिप्रेजेंटेशंस होंगी. Now the search cum evaluation committee would consolidate the data on advocating, including the input from the performance as a lawyer, and if there is any area of complaint pending against them, and forward into the collegium, which take place with the final call or appointment. Now, collegium in the High Court and Supreme Court. The Supreme Court collegium consists of the Chief Justice of India and 4 senior most judges at the apex court. और High Court की बात करें, Chief Justice of the High Court and 2 senior most judges at particular court, right? ये basically एक collegium की functioning है, and crucially, the recommendation made by the collegium is binding, while the government can flag the concern about the functioning and the appointment, the list that is there for the consultation, but mostly ये binding होती है. Central government उसमें या state government अपनी opinion and recommendations दे सकती है. At present, the appointment mechanism has been outlined as a memorandum of procedures, better known as MOP, and does not include the search and come select evaluations committee. तो अभी के लिए किसी भी तरह की search come evaluation committee की formation नहीं हुई है as per the procedures that is going by the collegium in the High Court and the Supreme Court. Now the tussle between the center and the Supreme Court, there is a latest development in the ongoing tussle between the center and the Supreme Court regarding the system of appointment of the High Court and Supreme Court judges. The apex court has expressed the extreme concern over the government setting 100 files, basically between the 10 files and transferring to the judges. तो कई ऐसे केसेस हैं, ऑलमोस्ट 10 इंपॉर्टेंट केसेस हैं जहाँ पे कोर्ट ने कहा है कि अभी तक फाइल जो ऑनरेबल पार्ट जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जो केसेस हैं पेंडिंग केसेस हैं उसे अभी तक सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने पास नहीं किया. सो दिस द सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज़ रेज्ड कंसर्न अबाउट नॉन पासेज ऑफ द फाइल्स विद रिगार्ड टू द ट्रांसफर ऑफ द जजेस. Departure from the existing system, according to the Union Law Minister in a letter, the government representation should be there from the Supreme Court and High Court collegiums, and this would make a major departure from the existing system where the collegium comprises only of a senior judges. Debate की अगर बात करें National Judicial Appointment Commissions को लेकर के, we have seen that a lot of basically issues were there with regards to the National Judicial Appointment Commission, जहाँ पे collegium system को लेकर के Vice President of India ने भी अपनी comment दी थी. Even the Law Minister has made several comments. I'm not getting into deep down about the details, although we have already made a discussion in several part of the video analysis, so you can check out that in the playlist section. Now the NHSC is a central feature, that is long outstanding proposal to do away with the collegium, और 99 amendment के थ्रू गवर्नमेंट ने इसे इंट्रोड्यूस किया था, which was struck down by the Supreme Court. जजेस अगर बात करें एनजेएससी की अगर फॉर्मेशन होती तो क्या मेंबर्स कमेटी होते हैं इसमें? चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया एज एक्स ऑफिशियो चेयरपर्सन, टू सीनियर मोस्ट जजेस ऑफ द सुप्रीम कोर्ट, law minister as an ex officio member, two eminent members from the civil society, prime minister of India, and the leader of opposition. So, if NJSC have to be formed, these are the composition. And however, the Supreme Court judgment has struck down the new amendment of the government that would repeal now. Now, moving to the first editorial for the day, that is the reality check for the Raj Bhavan, something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is the functions and responsibility of union states and issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure of this country. So before I proceed with the entire details, just looking into the theme of this editorial, that is the office of the governor, the journey of Madras to Tamil Nadu, the governor address, the limitations of governor power, and the conclusion part. So there's a growing distrust, or you can say the point of conflict between the government of Tamil Nadu and the governor that was found in the assembly. And this is there in the social media platform also, where in the Twitter there was a tweet that is going like hashtag get out Ravi that was trended. And the representation of the DMK, which is a ruling party in Tamil Nadu, have subsequently met the President of India and submit a memorandum on the issue with regards to the conduct of the governor. Governor is supposed to be functioning, basically aligning with the state government, and is basically the agent of the central government. So functioning power and even the conduct के लेकर के काफी ज़्यादा बात हुई. And office of the governor has been in controversy for long, so you can expect a question in the mains examination although. Now, in a speech, the Tamil Nadu governor has first strayed upon the sentiments by speaking about the name of the state. No, there was some comment made by him, and he has omitted the portions for the governor address, part of the address on the legislative assembly, so which has raised a concern by the DMK ruling party. The conventional, inconceivable and constitutional impermissible for the governor to suggest any name change. तो ये रूल के खिलाफ है जहाँ पे गवर्नर किसी भी स्टेट के नेम चेंज के लिए ऐसे बातें करते हैं. इट्स समथिंग दैट हैज़ टू बी पास्ड बाय द स्टेट पार्लियामेंट. स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली उसे पास करती है and bill has to be passed, then only the procedure can be followed. So the governor do not have a right, he simply cannot have a right to say this. Now, an unelected nominee of the center, the governor is expected to involve in the political controversy. He is not the individual who should be involving. So he is not supposed to involve in any political controversies or any ideologies. Journey from Madras to Tamil Nadu की अगर बात करें, first Tamil Nadu was known as Madras. Later on, it became Tamil Nadu, and it's a due process of law that has been followed. And unanimous resolution was passed by the resolution on the Legislative Council in 1967. Upon the receipt of the resolutions, the state government, the government of India, has introduced the legislation to alter the name of the Madras to Tamil Nadu and enact the first and fourth schedule of the constitution. So there's a specific schedule that is mentioned for the changes of the name of any state or alteration of the state boundaries. Now, by casually opposing the changes, the name, the governor of Tamil Nadu has displayed the ignorance of constitutional process, because you cannot suddenly change a name. There's a due process of law that has to be followed before a name change is proceeded, right? So this is the main controversy that is arising in terms of office and even the federal structure for the country. Governor address की अगर बात करें, governor address is under the Article 176 of the Indian Constitution, much like that of the president address to parliament, and is formally given by the government of a legislature to initiate the discussion of the assembly. And it is nothing but a curtain raiser speech for the progress made by the governor and policies of the governor for the coming years. Limitations की अगर बात करें गवर्नर की पावर की, so as we have seen the controversy that is arising, the governor has no discretionary power that has been laid down. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कैटेगोरिकली कई ऐसे लैंडमार्क के जजमेंट दिए हैं जहां पे पावर्स को करेल की गई है. देयर वाज अ स्पेसिफिक केस और अ लैंडमार्क केस इन द शमशेर सिंह versus state of Punjab in 1975, where Supreme Court has said that there is no discretionary power with regards to the governor. So ये एक important judgment है which you can even use in the mains paper. The court has then held that the governor is the only short form of the government. And the court has consistently held that the constitutional scheme does not make any available to the governor or act beyond aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. So he has to act on the aid and advice of the ministers and the cabinet and not by himself. And any scenario when the governor has exercised the discretionary in the official function would lead to the disastrous consequences. Now, moving to the conclusion part, there's an ideological war that is waiting to define the constitutional architecture, and the fight is essentially between the ideologies that preach the conformist, unitary structure, and even the movement for the federalist principle. The governor would be informed to an active judiciary where he can issue direction. The constitutional authorities have failed to enact with a reasonable manner with a reasonable time. So these things need to be there in a stipulated time, and they need to have a coordination between the office of governor and the cabinet or entire the chief minister office, right? At that time we have come to reach and think, review and revamp to the role of the governor and ensuring the jurisprudence of the framework to suit the modern constitutional morality. So definitely the office of governor has created a controversy with regards to the federal structure and cooperative federalism between the center and the state government. Now moving to the second editorial of the day, that is a time to streamline the provident fund scheme, something important for general studies paper 2 under the subtopic government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So talking about the issue, the first theme is the pension fund scheme will be followed by the part of the analysis by the background, Supreme Court judgment and the way forward. So around 70 lakh pensioners ऐसे हैं at the end of the wait. They are waiting for the higher pension under the Employee Pension Scheme 1955 that appears nowhere because there is no uniformity in terms of the decision that is taken by the EPFO organization. Although the Supreme Court of India has reiterated its same with 2 months ago, and the Supreme Court has categorically said that the part has to be used and beneficiaries need to be included. I'll tell you what are the details of the Supreme Court judgment and the verdict. That they circulated in the late December that the Employee Provident Fund Organization, better known as EPFO, have administrator body with the EPS and has only aggravated the sense of pain among the pensioner who is experiencing, and the numbers is mounting to 17 lakh, right? Background की अगर बात करें, an audit began in 2005 with a section of the Himachal Pradesh Tourism Development Corporation staff on the eve of their retirement has demanded a higher pension, right? तो डिमांड अगर पेंशन कंट्रीब्यूशन की बात करें, इवन पार्ट दैट इज मेड 12% कंट्रीब्यूशन होती है employees की and 12% is contributed by the employer, right? And even it has a deposit interest of 8.33% as a pension fund, right? But the EPFO has not impressed the employee along with their employer and does not exercise with the option as a cutoff date. Eventually the matter has reached up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court में आने के बाद Supreme Court ने क्या बातें कही हैं? Now, in October 2016, the top court has rejected the EPFO notions to cutoff date and held that the cutoff date in the EPS rule was meant to calculate the pensioner's salary only, right, and not the pension part. And in the Code 2020-22 has reinforced the rejections of the theory of cutoff and even asked the EPFO to grant 4 months to those who were the members from September 1st, 2014 to exercise these options. Now, as a retirement body to execute in October 2016 the verdict 8 weeks, and hence they have issued a circular in December itself. As the estimated shows that 24,672 pensioner has got the benefit of the higher pensions. Now, Supreme Court की judgment की अगर बात करें, under Article 142, Supreme Court has given a ruling that the EPFO member who have availed the EPS has the opportunity for the next 4 months to opt and contribute to 8.33% of their actual salary against the 8.3 of the pensioner salary capped for 15,000 rupees only as a pension part, right? इससे पहले 6,500 की कैपिंग रखी थी जिसको सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बढ़ा करके 15,000 की. Under the pre-amended scheme, the pensionable salary was computed on the average salary down by the 12 month to exit the membership of the pension fund. The amendment raised to an average 60 month prior to an existence and the member of the pension fund as well. Now, the court has held that the amendment required the members to contribute additional 1.6% of the salary exceeding the 15,000 amount as ultra virus and even provisions for the Employment Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provision Act of 1952. Now, concluding this editorial, the way forward would be like on a policy front, the government and EPFO should increase the minimum pension to 3,000 against the existing 1,000. And the hike in pension would address to a larger section of the society and the grievances of the pensioner would be at the lower wage basket. Beside that, the EPFO organization can give a one-time opportunity to all the people from the higher wage group who have retired in December 2004 without exceeding any options, right? And without exercising any options. And to make our suggestions of reality, the government should substantially increase the financial support that will actually help the pensioner, the retired person, to get a dignified livelihood options. And also, the Social Security Code 2020, when it's implemented, can give a younger part of the scheme, and whoever jobs after September 2014 can be left out of the EPS account with the higher wages. And all these measures would establish the government and EPFO as a sincere about providing a social security. So, talking about the EPFO organization, that was actually formulated by the government to ensure a social security protection scheme for all the people who are working in the organized sectors, right? So, this is how the rationale can be there, and you can conclude your answer in the mains paper as well. Now, moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of Saturday questions. For first question, the correct option is C. For second question, also the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for practice. The first is Garib Nawaz Employment Scheme. It was launched by the Ministry of Labor and Employment, and the main of the scheme is to provide job-oriented skill development course for minorities youth and enable them for the skill-based employment. The second question of the day is the Cutlass Express. It's an annual exercise conducted to promote national and regional maritime security in East Africa and West Asian Ocean. The exercise is designated to assess and improve the combined maritime law, enforce capacity, promote national and regional security. So these are the two options. Practicing a lot more question will give you an extra edge for the upcoming prelims examination. So do check it out. We have a lot more other platform where you can practice questions. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis discussion, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.